Hey guys, welcome back to the Grant Mitt Podcast, episode number 61. And in this episode, we're going to be discussing how to fast track your success by fast tracking your uncomfort. The fastest way to develop, to move up in life, and to start accomplishing things that you've never accomplished before is by starting to face more uncomfortable situations. It's uncomfortable to call 500 people in a day and get rejected 497 times. It's uncomfortable to put a big, huge, audacious goal that no one has ever achieved that you know and be willing to fail and everyone know it. It's extremely difficult and scary to take that dream job and leave the industry you've been in, or start that business, or say, you know what, I'm going to attempt to double my sales volume or double my production and be the absolute best person at my company that you work for. It's difficult and stressful, and sure as hell is extremely uncomfortable. But the people who are ultra successful, they're not always that much better. They don't know that much more things. The only difference is, one, they believe in themselves. Two, they show up. Three, they execute. But most importantly, they have an extremely high stress tolerance. Your level of stress tolerance will likely dictate the levels of success that you achieve in your life. If you can't handle pressure, you cannot handle success. If you can't handle people talking bad about you, saying negative things, false things, if you can't handle betrayal, someone, doing something behind your back, dealing with high pressure situations where you don't know if you're going to even make it through, it's going to be hard to achieve something on a grand scale. Oftentimes, when we want all these grand things and all these amazing things that we see on social media and we see through other lenses of people, we underestimate what it's actually going to take to get there. Each new level in life and each new goal that you have, you're going to have to give something up. Whether that's going out every day on the weekend, whether that's staying up late, watching TV, maybe you need to start going to bed early. Maybe you could see these people, you could call and help these people all the time, but now you have even more people to help. And if you keep helping these people that aren't really growing in life, then it's just not going to work to where you can help other people. You have to be willing to give something up. The first thing that you're going to need to do to fast track your growth and to be extremely, extremely uncomfortable, and there's no better way than this, than to start entering rooms where people are so much better than you that it makes you uncomfortable, insecure, and hesitant. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you're trying to lose weight or maybe bulk up and gain muscle mass. Instead of going to the $10 gym with a bunch of people that is overweight and they don't really care about their diet and they're there once a month, go to one of the gyms that has everyone in there that is so bulked up, so fit, so athletic, so good looking, that you are scared to walk in. I want you to feel so uncomfortable that every single day that you go there, you're embarrassed to even enter the room. What's going to happen is not only are those people a hell of a lot cooler than you'd imagine, because at once they did not have the body that they have now. They respect and understand the process of growth, and they'll most likely be willing to help you. But they'll respect you for showing up and being willing to fight and improve yourself. But if you're comparing yourself at a workout basis to someone that works out once a month, you're always going to be like, well, I'm doing a lot better than that guy. And you're going to start justifying your current success and your current results. But if you're around someone that's 10 times more fit than you, has everything down to a T, is an expert at what they do, let me tell you something. You may not be as good as that person one day, but you're going to get a hell of a lot closer than you could ever imagine because of pure pressure, because of the environment that you're in. If you want to make more money, you want to grow as an individual, succeed in business, succeed in sales. For example, let's say you're a real estate agent and you want to be in a top 1% real estate agent. You do not even need to talk to someone that is not in that level. Whether you're joining clubs, groups on Facebook, networking with people, you need to be surrounded with people that do so many deals, that so much revenue, make so much money that you feel like a loser just being in their presence. The reason why I say this is because this forces and fast tracks growth and uncomfort. If you weren't around those people, you would be fine. Waiting 3-4 years, taking your time, developing, trusting the process. But when you're around someone that's 10 times better than you and you see them every single day and you realize they're just a human being like you and I, you go, you know what? Screw that. I'm going after that. I'm going to go make that happen. If you're around them every day and you tell them you're doing 1/10 of what they're doing, they're going to be like, what are you doing? You got to step it up. Here, look, do this, do this, do this. You got to step it up, man. I'm not going to keep hanging out with you if you're not doing these type of numbers. You got to be a winner if you're around me. That's the type of pressure and focus that other people have. And it puts it on you to where I got to make it happen. So you were originally okay with taking a lot longer time to be successful. You get around people who are 10 times better and suddenly you're like, I got to make this happen now. That's how you start fast tracking your success. 2, stop obsessing over your feelings. I see this all the time because we hire sales reps all across the United States and they make 6 figures and make great money. And a lot of people don't make it. And the most common thing that I see, the biggest mistake in people in success, in entrepreneurs, in business, and salespeople, engineers, all different types of industries, is they're so obsessed over the way that they feel. They have to be, they have fragile egos. They're afraid for someone to say something bad about them. If they, work really hard for 2 weeks and it doesn't work out, they're blaming somebody else. They're already looking at other companies, other industries. They blame the circumstances around them. They're obsessed with feeling special, feeling like everything's supposed to be going right. And this is why they go from industry to industry to industry and they never make it to true success. If you just instead say, you know what? I'm burning the boats. We're taking the island. I'm doing whatever the hell it takes to develop and grow. This is, of course, going to be uncomfortable. This is something that's new. I'm trying to 10x my volume. Of course, it's going to feel worse. You're calling 10 times more people. You're facing 10 times more rejection. Of course, it's not going to feel good. But those people that say, I don't care how I feel, I'm going to execute, I'm going to produce, and I'm going to win and hit my target, those are the people that are here for the long haul and end up being successful. It is not everyone's job around you to make you feel good. They have families and problems of their own. Your job is to execute. And when you can pull your emotions out of the situation and see the problems for what they are, you can make clear, concise decisions that can help you, your business, your team, your family execute, develop, and get to the target and to the level that you want to achieve. 3 is if you obsess on the target and you attach emotions to it, it's going to be really difficult to stick out the long haul. One of my favorite sayings is the man that loves the journey will walk far further than the man that loves the destination. You have to be obsessed with going through the path, going through the process, the failures, the obstacles, the success, the trials, the errors, all those things you have to be obsessed with. But if each time you're along that process and each time you're going through the cycles of success and all the problems that you have to face with it, and if you focus on, okay, who is above me? Who is out here doing so much better than me that it's another level? And you're constantly studying then, not only will you always continue to raise the bar, but you'll always expand and challenge your thinking. One thing that I always do, and this is kind of a simple process that I do anytime I'm trying to level up. Let's say we had a record quarter and I don't want to get comfortable. I want to go to another level and I want to expand and think different. What I'll do is I'll find someone that is out producing me on a 10x level, or at least at a level so much that it makes me literally what I'm doing become embarrassing and horrible. Or if I have a problem that I think is so stressful and I'm worried about, I go find someone in a similar field, for example, another successful CEO or entrepreneur that has a problem 10 times bigger than me and is 10 times more successful. I got to know someone that has a company that does over $1 billion in sales. And I was talking to him about different things related to my company. And he looked at me and he goes, Grant, my payroll every 2 weeks is $100 million. This never goes away. You're always going to be thinking like this. And that number increases, the problems continue. You have to figure it out and scale and think bigger. And he's like, there's always going to be a bigger number that continues to climb. And you just have to adjust and be able to handle it. And I thought about it and I go, man, I was worried about something that's so much more tiny than this. And I'm successful. We have a fast growing company. But even then, it's like nothing. It's like peanuts compared to other people. But me just hearing that and hearing his thought process and what he deals with not only made me rationalize my problems and realizing, man, they're kind of small, but it helped me expand my level of thinking and realize, damn, I need to step it up. I need to think different. I need to be better. I need to do things different than I'm doing right now. When I was right before I started my first company and we became super successful, one thing that I did to elevate myself quicker than people typically do in 20, 30, 40 years of their life is I gave myself hard deadlines and I forced myself into a stress. People go, oh, Grant, that's not good. That's not sustainable. Of course not. You're not doing it every single time. But if you want to fast track your success, it's uncomfortable as hell. And since everybody in the world is so soft and hesitant, they're afraid to feel bad, so they never take giant leaps. They never go out and do a big, audacious goal because they want to feel good. I didn't give a shit. I just wanted to win. So what I did is I tricked my mind into thinking, if I don't make this income target, I don't know what the hell is going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to survive. I don't know anything. And it was so much bigger. It was at the time more than 10 times what I was making the year prior. And every day I would tell myself, I got to make this happen. I don't know what's going to happen if I don't. I got to make this happen. And instead of me taking 2 weeks to get something done, I'd get it done in a day or two. Instead of making 50 calls, for example, when I was starting off in sales, I would make 500 calls. Instead of taking X appointments, I would double or triple it. I would do whatever it took to quote unquote survive. The only difference, survival for me in that instance was producing 10x what I was currently doing. I had to force my mind, my body, and my emotions into overdrive to push and pull something out of me that is something I've never done before. Now, would I have likely got to that position eventually? Of course, but it would have took another 5 years, 10 years, because I would have just followed the normal pressures of life and eventually I would have figured it out. But I was able to do it in a quick year because I forced the development, the education, the preparation, the setup, the day-to-day, and all the things that I needed to set up in order to produce this result. So what I want you guys to do is, whether you're on use a sheet of paper, you have the notes in your phone, first you got to know, where the heck are you currently? How much do you actually make? What is your actual take home? What is your actual problems? Stop dodging them. You got to know what the actual issues are. If you don't know it, you cannot improve it. 2 is, I want you to figure out what is a realistic time for you to accomplish a goal. And then I want you to cut it in half and figure out how could you do it faster. Elon Musk said this, and if you know anything about Elon Musk, he always sets extremely strenuous timelines. He almost never hits it. His point isn't to hit it, it's to push him, the company, and every single person involved to do things at an even quicker and more successful basis. It's to squeeze everything out of the company that he can. If you force yourself to try to do something, and this is what he says, look, if you give yourself a month to clean your house, it's going to take a month. You give yourself a week to do it, it's going to take a week. If you give yourself an hour, you're going to clean it in an hour. You have to put basically guardrails in your life to make sure you are executing at an extremely high level. And wherever you're at currently, your current level of thinking is not going to get you to your target. You have to be around and surround yourself with people who don't think like you, who challenge the status quo. And the problem is this: when we get on Instagram, we get on Facebook, for the most of us, 99% of us, we talk to our families, our friends, other people that we know, the statistics are real. 1% makes more than 99%, which means if you see 100 people on social media, people that you know, it's a high likelihood, not for everyone, that 99 out of 100, if not 100, do not do the things and are actually producing the things that we're talking about right now, which means you need to protect your mind. You got to be careful who the heck you get advice from. You got to be careful what their opinions are. It's poison to your ears if they don't believe nor have they ever accomplished the things that you want to accomplish. Because if that's the case, don't listen to a peep. Don't tell them your goals. Go talk to people that goals and success are so big that things that you want to achieve is like, oh yeah, you could definitely do that. It's like no big deal. And when you hear these things, it's like music to your ears because your brain expands. What you think you can actually achieve and produce multiplies at levels that you couldn't imagine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. As always, guys, thank you so much for the support. If you do enjoy it, make sure to subscribe, like, and also leave a comment or review. Helps the channel and the podcast continue to grow. And as always, guys, you can find me on all social media outlets at Grant Mitt. Other than that, I hope you guys have an incredible week. We'll see you again for episode 62. Thanks, guys.